The bookroom was the most mysterious room in my childhood home. It was my father's bedroom, office, and library. I first remember it as an upstairs room in our big two-story house outside Florence, Alabama, when I was 5 years old. But my main memory of it was in our small three-bedroom stucco house in Central Florida, beginning at age 7. A 4-poster double bed occupied much of the room. Next to the bed was a large metal desk and a 4-drawer filing cabinet. I can still see it clearly. The stacks of papers lying about the desk, the open books laid around the room, and the rows of mostly drab-looking books artfully balanced on rickety shelves. There was the distinctive, not entirely unpleasant, smell I later described as a dusty book smell tinctured by the faint scent of sweat from his gardening clothes. The whole aura of the room remains vividly imprinted in my memory, more vividly, in fact, than those wonderfully exciting biographies of George Washington Carver, Abraham Lincoln, and a dozen others I read during those elementary school years. I thought of it as the bookroom. I was a frequent visitor, sometimes welcome, sometimes not. There was more than a hint of mystery and awe in that room, especially when I slipped in alone, sat in my father's chair, it swiveled, and tried to imagine what high and holy things transpired there between my father the professor and preacher and all those silent, ever-present books. Whatever it was, I promised myself, one day I would find out. Most of the books were black hardbacks with no dust jackets. They looked old. Some were dusty. These, I soon learned, were all books about the Bible and our church. There were some colorful paperbacks on a couple of shelves, and these were all about gardening and how to be healthy. At one end were several stacks of magazines, Progressive Farmer, Prevention, Gospel Advocate, and a little pocket-sized one called Sunshine. The inside front cover said, "A little magazine of uplifting stories and anecdotes to cheer people up." My father spent a lot of time in this room. Most of the time, it seemed to me, he was resting on the bed, usually reading. Sometimes he was sitting at the big desk, writing. On one wall was a framed drawing of a stallion in charcoal or pen. On the wall over the desk, also framed, was a Bible verse spelled out in brown, hand-painted block letters. "Whatever you do, in word or deed, do it all to the glory of God." He had created both pieces many years before. The room was a mystery to me, because my father was a mystery to me. What was he about? Where did his way of being come from? What did all these books have to do with it? I was 7, maybe 8, when the mystery of this room, of him, drew me in. What clues could it give me? What clues could he? I found myself slipping into the bookroom alone. I was not afraid of being caught. I just wanted to figure some things out.